the book that you published last time, you were publishing a book, or did I just randomly stumble upon you? And
I was publishing the book. Crimson Star was the one that I was working on last time when I spoke.
Crimson Star, and that's not up though, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, it's up. It's my second book. I don't know, for some reason it's just, it feels kind of hidden compared to the first one, because it's like that one pops up more, but the second book doesn't have any reviews right now. But that's the one that I was working on last time we spoke.
Did you do something different?
Me?
Did you do something different for like the launch of both books? Or was it pretty similar?
Actually, I don't know, because they were like, I feel like both books, the first one I kind of, was like, okay, I want to get it out, and I put it out, I think within the week that I said I wanted to do it, and it was like kind of written, but wasn't fully written, and I really feel like the second book was better. As far as the launch goes, I pretty much did the same things, but I didn't do a lot, you know what I'm saying, to market it. With this one, I'm gonna do, a lot more and make sure that, I get it out on social media, do, more advertisements and things. This kind of, quarantine threw a wrench in everything, because I was really doing good, saving money and whatnot.
Is everybody home now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. Working, good times.
What did you say? You do what?
I said not working, good times, but it has given me time to focus on my personal projects, because I really do want to get to just writing within the next 5 years and not have to like work outside of that. So I'm just working on, what I need to do, or at least, have to work part-time, or, something like that.
Yeah. So are you going to stick with eroticism, or are you going to, it sounds like you write about psychological stuff anyway. Why does it matter that they're lesbians? There might be a sexual component to it. It doesn't mean necessarily that you have to call yourself an eroticist or an erotic writer, right?
No, and I do want to get into, like, I'm like I said, I have all types of projects, in the works right now. I think that, as I said, my first 3 books are kind of like romantic focused.
Exactly.
Just because that's always what I have written. So I am getting into other things, but I don't know. I think that I kind of like the dynamics of the chase of a relationship, I guess.
Well, yeah, right. That's a romance.
The fun part.
When did you write your first book? How old were you when you wrote your first book? Actually, how many books do you have right now if you count the ones that you're still working on?
Man, I don't know.
That was my test question. I just want to see your reaction.
I'm sure it's up there. It has to be like at least like 30. But I know, like, I like to, have a focus. But as a writer, I like to leave myself the freedom to write whatever I want.
Yeah.
So I guess in ways it kind of makes it harder, but I find that if I like sit down with a book and try to specifically focus on it, or force it, I'm not gonna like what I want write anyway, and I end up deleting it. So
exactly. I'm not deleting it. You delete your work.
I delete paragraphs. I do.
Yeah. But there's a draft that I'm working on right now that has been around for a really long time, but I'm copying the sections that I'm working on and putting them someplace else and editing them there. So the original copy isn't going anywhere. I am crazy though. I have like 30 copies of the same story, so I get lost. Like, oh damn it, where's that section at? I have to fish through versions
That's
of it all day long.
I actually learned to write my stories in chapters. So like I'm super anal. I have a folder for the story, and then I have them separated by chapters. So each chapter is a different document. Otherwise, I find it hard to find everything. And then I have an outline to, basically point me through the chapters.
You're really that anal? Wow, that's awesome.
I am now. Sometimes when I want to work, but I don't want to write, I organize.
What is your average word count per story?
Well, it's actually going up. I think the Can't Let Go is like, I want to say like 30,000.
30,000.
Crimson Star was like 40. This one I'm aiming for at least 80,000. Right now it's a little old. It's like almost at 90, but I know when I do the final draft that I'm gonna delete stuff. So I like to go over, that way I have room for deletion. I learned that in the first 2 books. So.
Oh man, yeah, I'm deleting a crap ton of words right now, and the story I'm working on, it's just going away. Things that I just kept writing, just getting stuck in this. I have to over describe this. It's all gone. It's all being I don't know how big the story is going to be when I'm done with it. 30,000 is pretty good for a romance. I mean, that's pretty much what they normally are, right?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, I look up the word count and I don't know. I think like 60
romances. Those Harlequin things are really thin.
Yeah, those are thin.
Aren't those like a typical romance, or do they get bigger? I don't know.
Those are just like, I mean, I want to say it is romance, but it's not, like romance focused, I guess. She's not really a romantic person. She's more like an asshole.
Yeah. Assholes. I mean, she has so much sex though, and I think the idea that she has this problem where she can't be loved and she is being loved, but she's destroying the love by cheating on people is fascinating. I mean, at the end of the day, I would imagine that you would need a very nice conclusion where she does find a way to love herself, therefore being able to accept love from other people, right?
Yeah. I think that the conclusion so far is pretty good. I mean, I have the end of the book written. I'm not positive about it. But in the end, so far, what I have, she has, kind of dealt with her traumas, closed on all of her broken relationships, because it's not just, the woman she wants to be with. She breaks relationships all over the place. Like, she's just not a very open, honest person from the start. So
she has to be punished for that, at least, right? In the end.
Huh?
Does she get punished for that in the end?
No.
You can no. Yes.
She goes through it. She gets her karma.
Mm-hmm. What's your process starting a story like this? Just an idea, or do you spend a lot of time working the stuff that you already have? Like I do something that's similar to what I just said, whereas I'll have like my Google Drive filled with stories, and I'll decide to pick one out and just start working on it and tinkering with it, making it better than it was. Is that pretty much how you end up getting your novels?
I think, well, it depends. Sometimes, for the most part, I have this scene in my head, or I have these characters in my head, and they're like talking. So normally when I write, it just starts with a scene. I just write a scene, and I'd be like, oh, okay, so this happened. And so and there's no guarantee that that scene is gonna stay, but this scene is what was in my head, and then I just had to get it down. So then I'll go back and if I like the story, sometimes I'll write an outline for it. Otherwise, I might just write more scenes. But at some point, if I am taking the story seriously, then I do have to get an outline for it, because I've found that any other way is just too messy. Because I have so much work.
So I think we talked last time about Black Lives Matter, right? How you're connected to that through a cousin. No, was that you?
I don't think that we might have spoke about it briefly. I'm not like associated with Black Lives Matter.
St. Louis or something in those lines.
Yes, I mean my brother. Yes, he was murdered. I mean, they say he killed himself, but he died in jail in St. Louis.
So police brutality. With this COVID thing that's happening right now, I'm reading a lot of articles about how the social economic divide is really taking a big bite out of the African American community for one, and others as well. Do you feel an obligation? Because I read your work, I read that story, and you write really well. Do you feel an obligation to kind of reach deep and explore the social narrative of I'm going to die of a disease faster than anybody else because I don't have the resources to go to the doctor, or whatever the definition is there? I'm not quite sure. Or I'm going to get shot by cops instead of being helped by them. Do you feel kind of an obligation to work on this stuff within your fiction, or do you work on this stuff within your fiction?
I mean, yes, I touch on it. Like I said, in the anthology, it is a story about that. That I think I kind of got the premise from my brother, but like I said, it's like the whole anthology series is a pretty dark series, so it doesn't happen happily. But when it comes to things like that, I'm like the type of person, since that does touch home, I think that people need positivity. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I agree. I just had a conversation with somebody else about the exact same subject. I'm kind of nihilistic. I always look at like the dead end of things, and he was like, "That's really the wrong way to look at it."
Yeah.
Positivity.
It just brings you down, and that's not what people need. Because in order to
want the happy ending, don't they? They want the hero winning out. They don't want the ambiguousness that I write.
Honestly, when it comes to like bad situations, like in order to get out of it, a lot of times you have to be able to like picture yourself out of that situation. And it's really hard to do that if you're focusing on everything that's wrong. I mean, when the COVID thing first hit, I think that the last day I worked was like the 16th of March. Like, and I work 2 jobs. I work a lot. Like,
wow.
So
now you have no income, or do they hook you up? I mean, are you like, okay, nobody's hooking anybody up, are they? Where's the stimulus package, government? Where is it?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't filed taxes yet. I actually plan on doing that today, so I can get the stimulus check. Even though I owe money, I guess they're sending them out anyway. I'll take it.
Yeah,
I mean, so far everything's been fine. I've been doing nothing but saving since the beginning of the year. So I've been fine, for this month. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna live off my savings, and like unemployment is almost nothing.
Yeah. Unemployment.
It's literally less than 25% of my pay.
Both jobs, do you get 2 checks or just the one?
I get 2 checks, but the unemployment was based off of 1 check, and it's less than 25% of that one that they based it off of.
I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, this isn't over with, right? They're not saying, okay, everybody, we're going back to work tomorrow. They're saying, we'll see at the end of the month. We'll see at the end of May.
Yeah,
we'll see what's going on, guys.
Yes. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be at the end of this month. Like, it's probably not going to happen. But,
I'll see it, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm hopeful. I mean, like I said, I'm staying positive. I'm also staying in the house. I sanitize my groceries when I go out. I practice social distancing. I cannot. I don't want to catch that. I don't. And a lot of people are going to get it. So it's kind of like,
I'm in the city. It's supposedly all over the place here. It's been pretty quiet on this podcast, but usually I just hear sirens. There's just sirens outside all the time. They're just constantly running. And you wonder, I live on East First Street too, and there's a food pantry across the street. I can't tell you the number of homeless people that are out there right now. It's unbelievable. It's like a zombie apocalypse. And they're all like, they're not the good homeless kind that are trying. You know what I mean? It's the bad homeless kind that have no choice. This is where they live, on the streets. There's nothing you can do for them. There's hundreds of them just wandering around.
Yeah, and it's already a homeless problem, so this definitely isn't going to help. You know, people, like, honestly, like, most people, like they say, are like a check away from being homeless.
I was about to say the same thing. One check away from devastation.
And you have all these people not working, and then you're calling these people essentials, and they literally have the lowest paying jobs out here. And them go to work in this kind of environment. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. You know,
go to work too, would you? You would take your jobs back in a heartbeat if they called and said, "Hey, yo, come back, get a paycheck."
Let me tell you, I was scheduled through to the end of the week to work, and I called them and told them, like, I just can't, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, I work in a restaurant, like, I'm a server. So, I mean, all I do is be in contact, you know, with people and close. And then my other job is, like, literally a swimming instructor for kids. And, you know, yeah. So I can't, like, I don't want to be around.
I was just thinking, it's winter time. She's probably not instructing anybody, but you're in Arizona. You probably do that all year round, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. So no,
I forget that everybody has horrible, disgusting seasons called winters.
Yeah, no. Our winter was pretty cold this year, but still, it doesn't compare to, like, Midwest cold. You know, because that's where I'm from. I'm from the East Coast.
All your St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, that's unfortunately all we can do. It doesn't seem like we can vote to make a difference, but if we can wish to make a difference, that makes things.
I don't know about wishing, but I know people should stay home, and I wish they would get us all masks. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we all should have masks. Like, we should be able to have
enough toilet paper. What the hell is going on with this country? I don't understand what's happening. I really honestly don't. I don't understand. We're out of toilet paper? How is that possible? Somebody bought like 6. I don't understand. I really don't. I've never seen.
Smart. And yeah, and it's like it's no reason. Like, a lot of people are gonna have a surplus of toilet paper when this is all over.
I don't think there's anybody with a surplus. I think we were lied to. It doesn't make any human sense why we would be out of toilet paper. Even if, like, people filled their houses with it, there should just be toilet paper coming out of a factory someplace, like nothing. It doesn't make any sense.
It's the fear.
What are they afraid of? I don't know, man. I just don't trust it.
I don't know. I can't. I don't necessarily.
You hope not. I hope not too.
That's being told. I mean, I am a person that is totally into conspiracy theories. But
nobody's even coming up with a good toilet paper conspiracy theory. I haven't even heard one yet. That's the scariest part, actually, is that it's already how long has it been? 2 months since the toilet paper thing happened, And not one person has stepped forward with an idea that blows me away. Like, yeah, that's what it is. Actually, I've got one.
No toilet paper. It's like all the sanitizing, the bleach, disinfectant. Like, it's hard to get everything right now. Like, you literally have to plan in advance to get toilet paper. Like, I had to wake up early one morning to stand outside in line at Trader Joe's because the guy was like, yeah, we're going to get tissue in the morning. So I'm like, all right, well, let me get there early because otherwise it won't be one. And then while we're standing in line outside, this guy is coughing in line. Just no respect. It's like, dude, do that somewhere else.
Don't be sick and trying to be getting toilet paper.
It's just, honestly, he was there with his wife, so he could have stayed home if he was having a coughing fit.
Yeah, and social distancing. Somebody go. You both don't have to go. There's no reason.
Yeah.
I try not to let my wife go to the store at all, but she goes. I just feel bad. I won't let my kids go.
My mom is a cancer survivor, you know, and
since this all started.
She's home. My mom's home. Yeah, but her husband works for the post office, but he just drives the truck. So apparently he doesn't really come out in contact with people. He just pulls up, they load it, he goes somewhere else. He pulls up, they take it out. So he's pretty okay. But, you know, he still has to go to the grocery store. And that was one of my biggest fears because, you know, it has a long incubation period. It could be 2 to 24 days. So nobody knows if they have it or not. Like, literally.
Not only that, but you could feel, I mean, I think I had it, to tell you the truth. I think my whole family had it. It's really awful. You just feel really sick. Your body feels really tired and achy. I had the worst fever. I was so cold, but I was sweating my ass off. And this was like 2 straight days. I would take a bath and I'd feel okay. And I'd get out of the bath and I would just shiver like you would not believe. And then 2 days later, it went away. But I had a persistent 99-degree fever for weeks. Like I still have it, 99 degrees. It won't go away. I don't have a cough or anything. I don't have any lasting effects by it. But the idea that you can have what I had and die in 2 days. You know what I mean? It could be 14 days, it could be 24 days incubation, but once it actually hits you and you start getting sick, there is going to be a very quick decline in your health. And there's not anything you can do about it because it'll be too late by the time you go to the hospital. That's the thing that scares me the most.
Yeah. And, you know, my mom lives in Chicago and, you know, I was going out there often, but it was just like, after that hit, I was like, I don't know. And then they closed everything down, and I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely, because man, I can't risk it with her.
Yeah, with your mom. Yeah. I think I got it from a hotel room in Montreal in February or January. We weren't even talking. It was barely in Wuhan then. You know what I mean? It was barely pulling out of the Chinese virology lab or whatever it was. And they were whispering about it. What do they say? I mean, people are saying that vape thing that was going on before that, the whole people were dying from vaping, was COVID-19. That those people were, that's a conspiracy theory, that those people were actually dying of COVID-19. And we didn't know what it was. We weren't testing for it. We had no clue. And that's where it was starting, that slowly. I think this whole city has it, honestly, to tell you the truth. I don't think social distancing is doing anything. It's
I mean, New York is bad. Like, it's really, really bad.
They say we plateaued. They say we're flat now, or we could be flattening, but still, I mean, people are still dying. It's really difficult.
I mean, I guess what's flattening, though, when it's increasing 15, 30,000 people a day.
Yeah, it's still staying at 30,000 right now. It's not going down. You know, it's still a ton of freaking people. It's crazy. This is so crazy. And it can be back in the fall. And it's not over with yet. You know, something else can come out. And they say there's 4 or 5, I don't know. It's hard to say because the bubble is extensive. You hear a lot of information. You're not exactly sure what's true. What's enhanced information is not helpful. Let's add some stuff to it. No, thank you, please.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like, and everything's new, so nobody's sure. Nobody's positive about anything, so it's kind of like
newspapers. It's like, hey guys, we've got all the scoops over here.
I think that it's very sensationalized in the news. I feel like they're honestly doing too much, but I mean that's what the news has always been that, but there has just been a decline in common sense in the news over the past 4 years. I'm just saying.
No, I agree with you. There really has. It's not news anymore. It's entertainment. It's always been entertainment. When what's his face? What's the guy's name who did CNN back in the day? The silver-haired guy. You know who I'm talking about? Ted Turner.
Right? You're talking about, I don't know why I don't remember his name. He's still on CNN. He's still on there.
I don't think he owns CNN anymore, but he started it as news entertainment. It's like, this is going to be 24 hours. We're going to tell entertaining stories. We're going to have pretty girls. We're going to have smart guys. It's going to be great. Yeah. And he's right. 40 years later, that's exactly what it is. If you turn into CNN, they're going to entertain the crap out of you. And that means the same as like a horror story or a romance or whatever. They're going to give it to you until you walk away. And you'll come back because you want to be entertained the same way.
Careful the news that we intake. When this first started, I would check the news like every day. Like I would wake up and check it. But I mean, when I was still going to work, I would just wake up, check the news, see what's going on. Like today, now I check the numbers every day, to see what's going on, to see if we're flattening at all. But it's just like, man, you can't even believe anything that they tell you. Like, I just have come to the conclusion that it's all a lie because
I just don't understand whether, I don't understand why there's not more violence, right? That's what I'm waiting for. I don't care about the numbers anymore. I feel like shit anyway. I already think I had the damn thing and I'm kind of waiting to see what's going to happen, but I'm also very curious why people aren't hurting themselves or other people. You know what I mean? That's interesting to me.
I mean, some people are. I've heard a couple of stories, I should say, of people like killing themselves because
suicides are up. Yeah, that was a bad example because I have heard that there's been a lot of suicides. But where are the riots? Like,
I'm not a rioter because I don't like mob mentality, but I would guess because they gonna give each other coronavirus.
You think that's somebody?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think that we have all fallen into kind of I don't know, a stagnant period. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like right now at this point in life, anything could happen. We don't know. Like, this is the first time for everything. It's just like crazy. So you're just waiting to see what, crazy things gonna happen next. I don't know. Like, this is weird to me because I'm a person that I don't usually get sick. I've never had the flu. I've never even had a flu shot. And I also am like, I don't like to be around sick people either. Like, if somebody's coughing or they sneezing, I'm just like the type of person like, ew, take that over there. It's like, especially working with kids, because kids are gross. They'll cough on you, they'll sneeze on you, they don't care. They'll pick
my kids have a runny nose. I know I'm getting sick. I mean, I
exactly. Like,
I'm getting snot all over my hands. I mean, no matter what, I'm getting snot all over everything. God, guys, get sick in somebody else's house, please. But yeah, I'm gonna get sick, and that's exactly what happened. My wife got sick, my kids got sick, and I just about died. Whether it was corona or not, getting sick is miserable. And the thing about it is, who goes to the hospital? You know what I mean? You wait until the last second. You're like, oh, I'm fine. It's just a cold. I'm not gonna be a PUSSY or whatever. I'm gonna stick this thing out. And that's exactly what they say, is that once you go too far and they have the ventilate, you're either too weak to come off it or you're, perfectly timed. It's one or the other. I don't know.
Yeah. Apparently a lot of people get nightmares and stuff coming off those ventilators.
Oh yeah, they incubate.
It's
horrible.
Mm-hmm. I don't like that idea.
No, this is not good. I mean, this isn't Ebola, right? That was a blood disease. But did it make you bleed or something with your eyeballs? It's like, oh my God. I think that was worse. Choking to death on your own phlegm is still pretty bad, though.
Yeah, not a lot of people got that, though. That was like super mild. I think the only thing close is the H1N1. A lot of people died from that, which honestly, I don't even I remember H1N1 being around. I don't remember it being like as big a deal as this, though. I mean, clearly it wasn't, but there wasn't like.
It's hard not to think that this is some kind of conspiracy against Donald Trump or by Donald Trump. You know what I mean? The establishment going, oh no, we have to
I
stop him from being
mean,
reelected, or he's like, I'm in president, so I'm going to be dictator now, or some ridiculousness. I mean, it could be either way, right?
It, I think that it is government doing it. I feel like the government is responsible for so many atrocities over the years that they just cover up. Whether it necessarily has anything to do with Donald Trump, I doubt that. I doubt it. I doubt that he is behind it, or the person who started this, or the group who started this care about Donald Trump. I feel like this is definitely a way to lower our population because it's high and it's working.
Yeah, unfortunately, then you get into what populations are being lowered. Then you go, oh God, there's a racist element to it potentially. And then you don't want that to be true at all. You'd rather it be some kind of horrible thing that started in Chinese wet markets and not the crack epidemic all over again. Right?
It's it's like one of those things. We all have a choice, I think, and if we don't have the choice, we're gonna, like, if we have to go out, for those people that honestly do have to work, because like I'm looking for a work from home job right now. I don't know how long we're gonna be here. I've never even had a work from home job, but I'll try one, but
maybe the world will be different. Maybe there'll be a bunch of those, and that we'll all be able to work.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I'm like, well, now's the chance to try it. But I feel like those people that have to go to work for whatever reason, whether they'll be homeless or whatever will happen if they don't, should just make sure they're taking extra precautions. And anybody who doesn't have to work should not be going to work. Like, if you
they should be supported though too. Like, you don't feel good, and they should be supported too. I don't know. Maybe they should be supported. I mean, life is precious. I don't think that
life is precious, but at the end of the day, nobody's gonna love you as much as you love yourself. And waiting for somebody for somebody to care about you, to take care of you, so you could take care of yourself, is a mistake. It is. It's just a mistake. You have to take it.
I mean, waiting tables isn't the best way to take care of yourself. You're barely doing it. I did it myself for a lot of years. I got to college.
I was really cleaning up at work. Like, I was cleaning up. I was making good money there.
You're not going to retire being a waiter, though. You know what I mean? You're not going to say.
My plan is to retire writing. Like, I really have faith in myself that one day I'll just be writing, and that's it. Like, this is my dream, but right now, waiting tables is just what I do,
What kind of restaurant do you work at?
I work at a seafood restaurant.
Family owned, or is it a corporate place?
It's a corporate place.
That's another thing, right? I mean, it's like there's no flavor there. There's nothing that's really spectacular, and they're taking opportunity away from community to make something better. Here's bland, guys, and you can have an okay job, or you can own your own business. That's the same exact thing. It's better, and you get taken care of. I don't know. The whole thing is very frustrating and disappointing because I really don't like corporate seafood places, or corporate Italian places, or corporate anything places.
I definitely understand. I mean, like, to me, I know that I have things to do and I have things to take care of. So I look out for me, regardless of, what choice. A lot of things are messed up. Like, my company, they basically furloughed everybody. I mean, if they weren't, I was going to furlough myself, but
you're right.
Basically furloughed everybody that was like in my position. I know that they're still open. I know at least
they're doing deliveries.
They're doing the deliveries. They're like allowing people to do takeout, so I mean, they're still there, but it's just like, I mean, we're not actually like getting anything. Like, unemployment is trash, and but it's kind of like, I'm not in a bad position still, so I'm not going to complain because there's so many other people out there that we're living paycheck to paycheck, and you know what I'm saying, or people that still have to work that are,
What happens to them?
yeah,
they might disappear. 2008, when the housing crisis happened, people were actually living in those houses. People called those places home, and then once they weren't able to live in those houses anymore, they were bankrupt. They couldn't even get apartments because they're.
I don't know. Both of my parents, my mom and dad, lost their homes in that 2008 crisis.
What happened to both of them? Your mom's okay. She's living in Chicago, or is that bad?
Yeah, my dad lives in St. Louis. My mom is renting still, and my dad is I think he's in like a rent to buy situation right now. But I don't think either of them, well, I know my dad, I don't think, my mom wants to get out of Chicago. She hates the weather there, so she's not gonna buy a house out there. She wants to move down in Chicago.
That would be that one.
I hate going back. It's awful.
What do you hate?
I hate going back.
Oh yeah. Where are you from? St. Louis or Chicago?
Well, I was in St. Louis till I was like 14, and then I moved out to Chicago. And then I've been out here for like 6 years.
What part of Chicago?
Northwest suburbs.
Northwest, okay.
Yeah.
I hear again that COVID is hitting the South like hardcore in Chicago, just hitting it.
Chicago. That's hit. Yeah, really bad.
It's like majority of the victims are coming from that area. Man, I feel so bad that I didn't record the 23 minutes that we originally talked. It's right now at an hour. Do you want to go for another 23 minutes, or have I monopolized your time to the point where...
It's fine. It's fine.
Let's see what else we can talk about. I don't know. Do you do cable? Do you have cable, like television, or do you do TV, regular TV?
Yeah, I have Hulu, Netflix, and I have Amazon Prime. I have a Fire Stick that I haven't hooked up yet.
I don't like Fire Sticks.
Huh?
I don't like them. What do you use? You use the TV, or you got a computer hooked up to the TV, or do you just use your phone?
No, I have a smart TV.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, that's the best thing. I don't know what people are thinking, putting themselves in front of a TV that just constantly throws horrifying images and ideas at you all the time. Like, I'm a pretty girl and you're gonna die.
Whenever I watch regular TV, I always feel like I'm being brainwashed. Like, right? I can literally watch the same thing on Hulu or something else, and I don't feel the same effects as I feel just watching it on regular TV. I don't know why. It's just really
love weird. Like when I watch something on YouTube and the show I'm watching ends, and it doesn't go to something else. I love when I watch something on YouTube and there's no commercials because I have ad block on everything. I refuse to watch commercials. That's one reason I won't do Hulu is I just refuse to let them show me any commercials at all.
Yeah, one thing about the Hulu commercials though is that they're kind of like global commercials. They're not like the weird local ones. I don't know.
The weird local ones are the worst. I think the worst commercial that ever existed was that Head On commercial. I know you remember it. Head On. The headache commercial. You put the stupid tube on your head and it made your headache.
I remember that commercial.
It's 2003. You were 15 years old. Do you remember it? No.
Yeah, I do. It was like a red spot, right?
Like it was like chapstick or something, and you put it on your forehead and Head On. Headache goes away. It was so bad. It was the worst commercial ever. I think that's what did it for me. You're right, though. Interesting commercials, funny commercials that give you ideas and products that you never heard of that influence and make your life better or fine, but they're like 1% of the total thing. It seems like.
That's true.
What are you watching on Netflix? Anything good? What's your thing right now?
I've been actually watching YouTube. They have this For My Man, For My Woman series where it's just people who are doing murderous and illegal things for, I guess, the love of their lives. I don't know.
Oh, good for them.
I did watch Tiger King. Did you watch that?
I watched the first episode. I am disturbed
Man.
by it. I'm really embarrassed for.
That show is off the chain. It is crazy.
Did you watch the whole thing? Because I couldn't do it. I only watched the first episode.
I did. It is disturbing. Like those animals and those cages and all of that was disturbing. The people, the way they behave.
They live their lives. Yeah, that's the part that I can't stand. I don't like stupid people. And they're dumb. I mean, God, dude, floss a little bit. You don't lose your teeth. That's all you got to do. And he has no teeth. And he's covered in tattoos, so I know he can afford floss. Don't do that.
Oh, yeah. That guy, he was just using. I mean, those men that he were married to in that show were straight.
They were straight.
Yeah,
and they were just gay for pay.
Basically, they were both on drugs, and like they both had like serious issues when they came there. He brought them there. He married them within a couple months, and he made sure he kept them high.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's not awesome. It's really sad. But what do you think? Well, he's in prison. He's in jail, or is he in prison? He's sentenced for 99 years.
22 years he got.
For threatening to murder that woman. That's all he did, right?
He didn't murder her. It was murder for hire. He hired somebody to murder her.
He did? He straight up did hire somebody?
He did.
And recorded it on his TV show and put it on the internet?
The TV show came after, but it was just that the people that were involved in the murder for hire plot did not go to prison. It's fucked up. They should have went to jail too, but they did not go to prison. So they were out and they are on the show. One of them owns his zoo right now. That show is crazy. You have to finish watching that.
I don't want to watch it. It just makes me so sad.
Backstab it.
Because like half of our country is like, I want to be the Tiger King. I want to be that guy. I don't know. I don't understand.
It's a great watch. It's a great watch. I mean, I don't really like fads and things like that. So I was kind of apprehensive on watching it because everybody was talking about it. But it was totally worth it. Like a lot of times I don't feel like the things that everybody talk about are worth watching, but that is one thing. People were on point. It's worth the watch. It is messed up.
Yeah. But did Sarah Baskin kill her husband and feed it to the tiger?
Definitely killed her husband. Netflix, I feel like, proved it. She definitely killed him.
But Costa Rica, though, and he is a millionaire. I think he is kidnapped. She said, no, I ain't gonna pay him nothing. And they killed his ass in Costa Rica. I don't know anything about the show, but I mean, he was a millionaire and he was messing around in Costa Rica. It's a scary ass place.
That's what they nah.
No, you don't think so?
Yeah, he had a girlfriend in Costa Rica.
Or well, I don't. If you marry that Baskins chick, there's a good chance that you're not straight. Her current husband's not straight. Doesn't seem it to me anyway.
I mean, he's a little questionable, and he's like all those people have every single one of them, including Carol Baskins. I mean, I will give it to her that her place is nothing like his, even though he kept on trying to compare them together. Like, it was not the same. Like, she had like 40 acres and like 12 tigers on 40 acres. I don't think he had as many acres as her, and he had over 200. You know what I'm saying? So like,
I also heard about the food. The first episode covers food, I think, about how much they spend on food. And I think she said that she spent X number of dollars per tiger, and he said, I spend 33 cents per tiger a day on food. They get scraps. Like, the highway department will call me when there's dead deer on the road, and I'll go get them. I'm like, wow, dude. And he doesn't care. He's like proud of it. He's like, yeah, I do it cheap.
Oh man, you saw the Walmart truck though of the leftover meat that the employees get to pick through first? Like, dude, that show is hilarious. that show.
Is that true though? Do the Walmart, do they get to pick through the meat first?
Yes, before they give it to the animals. So they feed them stuff like lunch meat and stuff like that. All of those animals, like, they were hungry. There's no way. There is no meat.
And they're angry when they don't eat. They get mad.
Yeah, but you should watch it. Like, Carol Baskins definitely had a slip up where I feel like she kind of admitted, because she said she know how to get a tiger to eat a human being. She admitted it. So
I might give it another episode just to see. You know, the first one might not sink in. I'd love to have something to binge. I have nothing. There's nothing I'm interested in right now at all.
yeah.
I can't think of anything anyway. I mean, I'm writing like crazy. I'm filling my time up.
Yeah, I've been writing a lot too, which it's kind of been a joy, because this is like the only thing in the world where I just love to do. But you know, I'm working on my second draft, and you know how that is. It's more editing than writing.
Oh yeah, writing is not really true. It's all rewriting, taking those words and making sure they're working. Okay.
Yeah, but it has been very good for, you know, progress.
Good.
For sure.
What's next for you? Besides finishing up the story. Yeah.
After my next book comes out, I am actually working on this series about a murder that happened a long time ago. They're looking for a missing kid of this lady that was killed, and it's just so much entanglement, and just I've been working on that book, and I'm hoping that by next year I can start getting them out, because it's kind of like a series, and it's a lot involved. So I can't wait. That's like my thing.
I'm working on something that I've been planning for a really long time now. I know the feeling of being excited to get something done. It's scary though too, because what I'm working on now is done. You know, it's just a rewrite. After I finish it, I don't ever have to work on it again. I can call it finished if I really want to. And I feel like I'm to that point with it. It's been 5 years since I finished that novel. I think it's about time to call it done. But the next project that I have to get done at the same time is in pieces. Like, it's just bits and pieces of chapters, and I've got to work it from the very beginning all the way through. And my goal is to have 2 months of just get it done. It's so important to get it done. And
yeah, I find that the personal goals, they can be very helpful. Sometimes it fills me with a little anxiety, but with this one, I feel like that I was really focused on the quality. I'm going to put more time into it, put more money into it, you know, and see how that works out for me, because my next book, I kind of want to see if, like, not the one that's coming out, but like the series ones, which I know that you're not supposed to present series to agents, so it's going to be one book. But
I heard, not to interrupt you because I do that a lot, and I'm really apologetic if it bothers you, but I need to tell you this. I just talked to a guy named Garrett Robinson, and he is in negotiations with traditional publishers because he's an agent. I know we don't have agents. I don't know if you have an agent or not. I don't have an agent. It probably makes
I don't have it.
I barely have 2 pennies to rub together. But he said that traditional publishers are desperate for work. So if you have something that's done-ish, you might be able to go on Twitter or Facebook, find somebody who's in the business of publishing stuff, maybe even somebody that's in the publishing house that you enjoy the most. You might be able to get your stuff read and bought, like by a bigwig. I read your stuff. It's not bad. It's good writing. I mean, it's stuff that can be. I mean, how long have you been writing? What's the age that you started?
I've literally been writing my whole entire life. When I was in second grade, I had a binder of stories that I had just put together. I used to write my parents' stories for, you know, Father's Day, Mother's Day. I used to write plays for me and my brothers to perform in front of them. I've always been a writer.
That's so cool. Do you feel like, have you ever left Arizona? Oh no, I'm sorry, you've lived in Chicago and St. Louis. I was like, wow, this woman probably needs to move someplace big. And you've lived there and you don't like it. It's horrible.
Yeah, I don't know. All the big cities pretty much are cold, and California is expensive. Like, I think California is one of those places that, I would live in if I had, like, those 7 streams of income. I would live in California if I had those.
Start that out by having one stream of income called drugs, and then you can do the other streams. But you have to start with the one bad one, and then you can go and have the other 7.
Right.
Nothing starts legitimately. You just can't get caught doing the crooked thing, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I tell people that all the time when they talk about billionaires and millionaires. It's just like, there's no honest way to $1 billion, right?
Honestly. I mean, what do they say? Bezos. Like Bezos is in this garage, right? He built Amazon from scratch. He's packing boxes with books from day one. He screwed somebody else. He screwed somebody over.
Screwing people now. He's screwing all his employees. I worked for Amazon for a brief time.
Really? Oh, that's right. You told me about that. It's a miserable job. That's what I hear. And you can go work for them right now. They want you so bad. Like, come work for us.
I'm sure that's all I see. Like, no, I'm good. Y'all don't even have y'all people 6 feet apart. Like, y'all not practicing social distancing at work. Y'all not giving y'all truck drivers masks and gloves and like the things that sanitizer, the things that they need to take care of themselves. It's like, no, y'all don't care. Like, y'all making money right now, like money. Like, they make good money. They was always making money, but they're making, because everybody else is closed down. It's like only a couple places you can get stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want it to be like this. I really don't. I think it's sad. I don't, honestly, I mean, we talk about places closing, and I'm so happy that corporate seafood places are closed. I'm not sad about that. But you know what I am sad about? This is the worst part. There's a bunch of awesome sounding restaurants around me. Like, there's a Chinese restaurant down the street, just normal Chinese food. There's a Vietnamese place right across the way that sells soups and sandwiches. They have workers that aren't documented, right? And all of these stores are completely closed. They're not even open anymore. So even the people that are like in restaurants that are open, like you guys are delivering food and stuff, these people can't even put a workforce together because I don't know what happened to their people. Where's everybody at?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, all of this stuff is just, it's kind of like one of those things. I make it a rule for myself not to feel bad or sorry for people because, like, at the end of the day, regardless of what situation that I'm in, I don't need anybody's pity. It's not going to do me. It's not going to help the situation. And at the end of the day, it's really just very negative. I will tell you this, though. These companies are really showing their ass right now. So I think that we definitely should all be watching for that. I know that
they're asking for handouts too. Hey, bail me out. I need a bailout. Bail me out.
And they're laying off employees at the same time. It's like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty shady stuff going on. Like a lot of these companies, can't afford to send their people home, to work from home. And they're just choosing not to do it.
Well, a lot of these companies, even before that, were crooked as hell too. I mean, it's showing their ass. They've been doing it for years, treating people badly. Walmart specifically, Amazon, there's hostile work environments. They go through employees like crazy. There's no stability to actually have a life with. I mean, it sucks to have to move to job.
Yeah, no, it's not okay. It's not okay. I mean, unless you want to, you know.
Nobody wants
But
to
it
do
is
that. None of your
looking for
colleagues want to do that. I worked that job up until I met my wife. I was 38 years old. I still was waiting tables. I got a job as a night waiter at the Fifth Avenue Diner, and I was like, okay, it's decent money. I got a job, but I mean, it's horrible. Every 4 or 5 months, every year, every couple of years, you're looking for work, and you end up in the exact same spot. No raises, no nothing. It's horribly depressing.
I mean, I've been serving for shoot, 4 years, 3 years, 3 years, almost 4 years. So it hasn't been a long time. I really wish I would have did it when I was younger though.
Oh, okay, you didn't do it before.
No. I was before. I did mostly customer service. Before I moved out here, I actually owned my own bar, and I didn't care for it. It's a lot of work. And then when I moved out here, I kind of started, serving. And the thing with serving tables is like the raise is in the restaurant. Like, yeah, you have to keep looking for a job because at the end of the day, I know that you have to like upgrade yourself. Like you have to give your own self raises. And I've started from the bottom in serving and to where I am now, and like the class of people, how much the food costs, the environment, like all of that, it definitely matters. I would guess that being a server, I know you don't like corporate places, but I'm sure being a server at Papados pays well. I'm sure that
Papados?
Papados. Seafood restaurant. I'm sure that it pays well, because they like really, really fancy, high class. They have, live bands that play there sometimes, jazz
They
music.
say in New York City, the waiters make a lot of money, upwards near $100,000 a year. I worked in that dumb diner and I didn't make that. I made more money.
I mean, I had a service job where I was making I think $15 an hour, and that was awful. I mean, that was really terrible. But like right now out here, again, also server pay, because out here the server pay is like $9 an hour now.
Oh, good for you guys.
I know, right? It's the come up.
Back in the day, it used to be $2.13, and they didn't really care about you at all. They didn't give you any raises. You're not getting you're not breaking $3. That's for damn sure.
And when I started serving, it was $5 an hour. So, but the minimum wage,
good.
Yeah, minimum wage goes up every year. So, well, almost every year, at least out here it does, because they've been trying to catch up the cost of living with the minimum wage. Because out here, they're really strict with the housing. Like, it's a lot of homeless people out here, because if you have any evictions on your background, they're not going to rent to you. This is not like a place where they're like, oh, you kind of like, no, they have it like some sort of system where they're not going to rent to you. The eviction is in like some kind of file with them. And then if you're late on your rent, you will be evicted before the end of the month.
It's a month thing. They won't go to the court system.
No, they do, but they go to court right away. If you're late on your rent, like a week and a half, you're going to be in court by the end of that second week.
Well, also the weather helps too, doesn't it? I mean, it's just nice to have the sun on yourself if you're homeless.
Yeah. So a lot of people out here, they do the roommate thing, which is, gets kind of weird. New York, yeah. Living with grown adults, but.
Well, you live with a grown adult. You just happen to love the person.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a whole nother vibe.
It's okay. I love my wife too, and it was a big pain in the butt. Relationships.
Yeah, it's always a living together is always you know, a compromise, a test of wills and patience, especially if you're an adult and you've done it before and then you lived on your own and then you're like, okay, let's do this. Yeah.
It's always better moving in with somebody, though, as long as they've done it before and they have some expectation. If they've never lived with anybody, it's hard. When I married my wife, she had never lived with anyone. And she said, okay, you can have this small section of the closet. She wasn't about them. She was like, okay, if you watch TV late at night, you got to wear these headphones.
Yeah, that's funny.
We had problems. I was like, I took it for a little while. I was like, okay, I'll be a good guy. And then like a couple of years later, I was like, nope, not anymore. Not doing it. I'll not wear your headphones any longer.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
no, no, my book, I am gonna look into that and see, because this book I told myself that I was going to do everything that I needed to do. Like I saved up this money so I could do my advertisement. I want to, get a professional book trailer made, and then I want to actually advertise it before I put it out. So I'll check and see, look up some publishers and, see what's going on.
It's hard. I mean, I would aim specifically for like an agent, though. Not an agent. I would aim for the editor themselves, a person that does the slush pile. I was on tour. I was aiming for a novella submission they had, and the people they were running the submissions were really on it publicly. So you could easily have talked to one of them, but I don't know who does the romance. I mean, it's very specific, right? The stuff that you write is not going to be for everybody. So it'd be very easy to find a publisher that does that type of writing. Like who would do...
What you're saying.
What?
I said, I see what you're saying.
Right? I mean, you want to go to places that actually publish African-American authors writing LGBT material. I don't know how much you'd make, though. I don't know. Maybe you're better off doing the indie stuff. So it's so complicated.
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, this one is like the other two. Like I said, I just put those out. This one, I'm really going to invest in myself and see what kind of reaction I get. Because I just need people to read it, It's just like one of those things. Just read it. It's not even, read it and then, tell somebody about it. Like, tell me how it was. It's hard to get feedback. And honestly, it's really hard to get negative feedback. So it's kind of like...
On top of not getting any feedback.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when I do beg for it, when I do ask for it, it's pretty much, positive, which is not really what I need for my development. So a lot of times when I write stories and, I research, how I should do this, how I should do that, to just improve myself. But
who edits your stuff?
It may help to have an agent, but like at this point in time, I would just like to get my book out there and, so that a lot of people could read it.
I don't understand the agent thing. It's like, why do you need to have the ear of the publisher? They trust you only? I guess that's what it is. The whole industry is really hurting anyway. This might actually break the back of the publishing industry. It's broken the back of AMC movie theaters. I mean, you didn't think that was possible, right? Oh, really, guys? You're so insolvent that you couldn't last 1 month?
It's like, yeah, you guys are making some really bad decisions.
Oh, I guess that past thing you had going wasn't working after all. I mean, yeah, they were barely pulling it apart. And corporations take out loans for their paychecks too. So you had to go bankrupt. That means you didn't even make enough money for the loan that you took out to pay your employees right before the whole shit went down.
Yeah, I didn't know AMC was doing bad, but I mean, I don't know. Movies are right. They don't mind now. The movies, they sell them online. I don't know Is that straight? That's straight from the you know, company, the multimedia company, Sony or whatever.
Yeah,
Lionsgate, whatever.
I think some of them said, "Here, fine, take the movie. We put it out already. We're kind of screwed, so here it is on the internet. You can watch it."
Yeah, but they're charging like on Vudu, they're charging like $20 for some of those movies that should be in the theaters right now. Yeah. Which is insane. Like, if you're a person who goes on a $5 Tuesday, you're not paying $20 for a movie.
No, you're not. And you're probably going by yourself anyway. And you're probably not buying concessions, potentially.
No, because they're overpriced.
Yeah, that's where they got their money from. So make some popcorn for 15 cents and you're going to pay $20 for
it. Yeah.
Hey, it's kind of like when you see somebody acting like an asshole and then they get hurt. It's like, yeah, you kind of feel bad, but okay, you kind of deserved it.
Just a little bit, yeah. I feel that. It's like literally when they came out with the news that Donald Trump had been that he was in contact with somebody who had coronavirus. And whenever I told somebody that, the smirk on their face was so awful. It's like, you really shouldn't be laughing at that, but it is what it is.
He's such an asshole, though. That's the problem. I mean, he's like, you remember when the eclipse happened and he was staring at the sun? And it's kind of like that, where you're like, yeah, I kind of hope you go blind. I kind of hope you get corona. I kind of hope this shit happens to you just because you're so stupid. But I'm actually turning around a little bit. I hate the guy. I think he's horrible. He's definitely very, very much out for himself. But man, he can really kind of do his thing quite well. You know what I mean? He can do his Donald Trump. No problem. Yeah. He doesn't seem concerned that anybody hates him or there might be a problem with his hair. I could not stand in front of him and say the shit that he says. And I don't look like him. You know what I mean? My hair, I actually have it. I'm not trying to hide anything. He's a very unattractive guy who can stand in front of those cameras and those people. Yesterday, I don't know if you paid attention to the news, the press conference, but he was yelling at a young reporter. The young reporter was incredibly attractive. Like incredibly attractive. I don't know if I could yell at an incredibly attractive woman like that. He just doesn't care. He seems so.
Yeah, he's an actor. You know, the worst thing about Donald Trump is that he has a posse of people around him.
Building him up, yeah. Building him up, it helps, doesn't it?
Shit. That is the worst. Like, most of us have somebody in our life when we get too big-headed, they're going to chop us down in size. Like, hey,
you have a wife too.
And all of that, but she needs to bring it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have that. So it makes him who he is. It doesn't help, but his time is coming.
God, I hope so. I don't think it is, though. I'm afraid it's not. I'm afraid to have this thing whole wrapped up. I like they're laughing at us going, ha ha ha, they think this is going to be an election. Ha ha ha, I'm going to be president forever or something. I'm going to watch this so bad.
He's going to change it. The election's not going to be every 4 years. It's just going to be after he died.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's so horrible.
It is bad, but I'm saying, like, after honestly him being elected, and it was mostly the news's fault. They sensationalized him. They brought him to the forefront. They made sure, because he was so outrageous and all of that, that they captured everything he said, because it made for good TV. And he ended up getting elected. I honestly feel like it was really their fault. They really did that.
I think you can give a little bit of credit for Hillary too, though.
I mean, honestly, the two people, Hillary shouldn't have been in the running. It shouldn't have been her. It shouldn't have been. No, exactly. It shouldn't have been her in the first place. Because, like, you know, I've never got to vote, and, you know, like, they don't send out all of that shit, basically. When they're choosing when they're doing the run-ins in every state to choose each one, like, you don't necessarily get to vote in all of those. So it's like, who are you guys basing this off of? You know, and then we get stuck, like, right now. We're going to be stuck with Biden. Honestly, I don't like either one of them, but if I had to choose between Biden and Bernie, it would not be Biden, okay?
Biden has cognitive issues, and it's obvious, and I wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, either way, we're going to be screwed for at least the next 8 years when it comes to the president.
We might not be as screwed with Biden, and we might not be as screwed if the Senate goes blue and the House keeps all their seats. We might not be. But
but I think that, you know, I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up because, you know, I'm scarred for life because of the whole Trump thing. You know, you go out here and, you know.
Oh, really? Yeah, you're right. I'm scarred for life too. I doubt it now. I've never felt more doubt about our political process than I do right now.
Yeah. And it's just like, now it's like, you know, people, it needs to be brought to people's attention that our local elections, like, we really need to pay attention to those and vote in those. But, like, the honest to God truth is that people are busy. Like, we're all busy. Like, we have
a national holiday. We need to be able to vote by mail. We need to be able to vote by the internet. You know what's ridiculous to me is that the places that do have vote by mail, you voted for, let's say, I don't know, Elizabeth Warren. And then by the time your primary actually came around, she wasn't even there anymore. So she got like millions and millions of votes, but they didn't count for anything because she wasn't even in the election.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's hell. But I mean, I also feel like, again, I don't know the resolution to this, but I feel like the whole two-party election system is fucking stupid.
I think
like
so
that shit is dumb. Like, at the end of the day, we all have a mix of values in us. You know, you can't just say you're all one way here or you're all one way there, because we're not. Like, we're all in the middle somewhere. And then they want us to pick a candidate that wants to be off the deep end on either side. It's just stupid and ridiculous. And I hate that.
Well, and then it's a candidate that memorizes talking points, right? But doesn't say shit about actually stuff that bothers us. Like, hey, guys, if there's a pandemic, we're going to do this if I'm president. That's actually a really good campaign run. You know, hey guys, if there's a hurricane in New York that knocks out, you know, Wall Street for a few months, here's an idea that we're going to do. I mean, we're living in a world in which climate change is real. And what the hell is the idea? I mean, we don't even know what this idea is that we're going to do.
No, we don't know. And a lot of people don't even believe in it, which is, you know, I mean, the world right now is kind of healing itself, which is
interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah, interesting and incredible. Is something that's, you know, it's pretty nice. It's something that I'm glad I got to see in this lifetime. The whole pandemic
thing. We're the problem. We're the problem. We're such assholes. I mean, God, the fact that you can sit. Have you seen pictures from India where they can see the Himalayas for the first time in like since the Second World War? Oh my God, how weird is that?
Yeah, and it's like people every day they don't care. Like I said, like, we're all busy people, and we're just a lot of times just worried about ourselves, you know? And some of us worry about ourselves and we worry about other things, but most of us are focused on ourselves. And a lot of times it's like, hey, if it's legal, then you can do it, you know? It's like, no, people don't have morality and ethics behind, you know, the things they do. Like, I'm like one person, I'm like the type of person I really don't like littering, for instance. Like, it bothers me. I feel like if you were here and you even walked by here, why are you putting garbage here? This is a place that you travel.
Yeah.
Do you want to walk through garbage? It does not make sense to me. It doesn't.
You're talking to the wrong person. I live in a city where literally there's garbage everywhere.
I know.
It's
I know.
unbelievable. I put my garbage out last night, and we don't put it in a bin like you would think a normal city would do that has rats everywhere. What we do with our garbage is we throw it on the curb. But we seriously take our bags of garbage from our house and we put the bags of garbage on the fucking curb. We do that every single other day in the city. I mean, it's a rat buffet. And then
Oh,
after the garbage men
oh.
come, they pick up the garbage bags, and there's always garbage left over, like heaps and heaps of garbage from people's homes, fresh garbage.
Ew. That's pretty bad.
I bet you have
Ew.
a bin. I bet like
That's a
on Monday,
problem.
when Wednesday comes around, you take all your garbage, you put it in your bin, you drag it down to the curb, you leave it there, and the next morning you take your gross bin, you put it by your house. That's
Yeah.
no man. There's
I mean,
garbage everywhere.
still have to pick up garbage on garbage day because it flows out of the truck. So like even even though we do have that, they still do, but it's not heaps of it. It might be like a paper that got away or a wrapper, like something like that. But
Man,
yeah,
one day
that's gross, man. That's a problem.
Yeah, it is. I moved here in 2005 and I was in Midtown. I think it was Midtown. And I accidentally kicked the bag of garbage. I just kicked it with my foot on accident. You just brushed against it and you made a bag noise. It wasn't even like the garbage started flying or anything. And 5 fucking rats ran out. I'm like seriously running over my feet
Yeah.
into the street.
I saw this article and it's really gross, but I saw this article that the rats are running out of food and they're like eating themselves.
I heard that in New Orleans.
They're becoming cannibals. I mean, it's sick, but I don't know.
I don't know.
The way rats multiply, I don't think
that's us though, isn't it? They only exist because we exist. They like ticks. They love us. They hang out with us. If we weren't like a successful species, the rats wouldn't be successful. If we went away, they would go away. Just like pollution goes away. It's so sad. It's really unfortunate. It's a good thing that you feel good about the fact that you got to see this kind of cleaning up of the environment. But for me, I mean, it's absolute proof that we're horrible. We're like a disease.
Well, you didn't know by now that humans were horrible.
No, I did know this, but
there's no surprise. There is no surprise there.
No surprise. You can't. I don't think we can fix it. Like this is like a tease. Like, hey, here's the Himalayas. Does it turn you on? Nope. I'm gonna put the smog right back over it as soon as this recession.
Oh yeah, it's going back. It's definitely gonna be back in the air. But
and crank this shit up to worse than it was, and it'll be like, you saw the Himalayas? It's gonna be a black haze now. It's black across the horrible like coal smog or something.
I think that is going to be interesting to see how life overall changes because of everybody being quarantined. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is pretty for me. I'm not even a person.
Do you think that you're going to be more friendly to people, or do you think that you're going to be more hesitant to be around people?
I mean, hesitant as in they might have a virus, yes, but all in all, I generally like to deal with people in a public type of setting. So, like, when it comes to that, I am very friendly because I think that it might be just because that's my preference. Like, I do prefer, a less personal experience with people, but to still deal with them. Social media, I feel like people are meaner on social media right now. They're very, very, or they can be negative. So one thing that, I try to make people aware of is that, right now, this is how all of us are dealing with being alone. We're going to social media. So, like, let's not make it a bad place. Let's not make it somewhere that's stressful to be, because it's like a lot of us is the only thing that we have.
I've noticed that the bad ones on social media are usually stupid, though. Like,
I mean,
people looking for a fight, they're like, God, you misspelt like half the words that you used. Why are you even bothering? Some people that I respond to, I don't know, you on Reddit? Do you do Reddit at all?
I don't. I like to read Reddit, but no, I don't. I'm not on Reddit, but that
Like the
sounds
comments?
entertaining. Actually, I see some good stuff on there.
I've gotten it handed to me a few times. I have decided that I don't like to respond to people who get upset. I just leave it alone. But I make a lot of stupid comments, so I guess I earn it. I guess I deserve it. What do? You just big? You're not even big on Twitter, though, are you?
I mean, I have a Twitter account that is.
That's how I know you, I think.
Yeah. No, I have a Twitter account that is more social than that one. But yeah, Twitter is like my main social media right now. I don't like Facebook. I don't have Snapchat. And I don't really too much care for Instagram. So yeah, it is.
At Shae Rookard. Rookard. How do you say your last name?
Rookard. My personal Twitter is sun_bronze. That's my personal Twitter. That's one that I'm on a lot, and I like to talk my shit on. Right now, if somebody is like extremely negative, I just mute them. Like, I don't have time for that. Like I don't. Like, I feel like we deal with enough in real life. We don't need to go on social media and be negative. Like, it was different when we all were free, but we're not free. We're all locked up.
Yeah. I think I follow too many people on Twitter. I think I'm up to almost 5,000. So I don't see anybody over and over again at all to be able to say they're negative all the time. I think that's my experience.
Yeah.
And you don't know how many 5,000 people are until you try to remove all the ones that aren't following you back. And you realize you do this for like an hour and a half one day. You spend it just removing all these people that don't follow you. You're like, God, I'm doing such a good job. I bet I'm down to like 1,000 people that I'm following. And you refresh and you've only removed 700 people. And you still have 4,300 left. And you're like, all right, fuck it. The rest of these people I'm going to follow.
Yeah. It's a process, but it's like managing your social media. I mean, when it's a professional social media, it's just something that you have to do. It's kind of like one of those things. Sometimes I'll let it go for months and then I'll go in there and I'll stay on it, removing people. Because, if you add too many people, you remove too many people, Twitter's going to block you anyway. So.
Oh, well, I think I think I'm like shadow banned. I don't
know. Yeah. And to block you anyway. But yeah, I show that. I don't follow that many people though. That's a lot of people.
I like writers and artists.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll follow you. And then I realized that I got 5,000 is like the max or something. I can't follow any more than that. Oh, well, you suck. There's like tons of people that I would love to follow, and I just can't do it. So
that's weird.
Yeah, they won't let you follow anybody else. I'm not quite sure why. So what else do you want us to know? Now, I finally made it back up to an hour after not starting our first 23 minutes. Very, 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 very sorry for that. I've really enjoyed talking with you. I'm so happy I reached out to you to get together and catch up.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I already have 2 books on Amazon. They're really super good. Crimson Star, Can't Let Go. They're already out there. I really need reviews, whether the book is read on Kindle, because they're on Kindle for free if you get Kindle, or you purchase the book outright or download it. I just need reviews. That's it. Because my newest book, Crimson Star, isn't rated at all. And I think the other one, Can't Let Go, has like 2 reviews on it, maybe 3. And I'm honestly not positive how I can get people to review the book.
God, I wish I could tell you. I really do. Because I published 2 things on Amazon back in the day, 8 years ago or so. And I had the same problem. I didn't get any reviews. I had to reach out to a professor. I was like, hey, yo, could you grab a review? And he did. It was very nice of him. It was the only one I got. So I have no clue. I don't know if it's any.
One of the reviews I got is because I asked for it.
I've been told that things are up right now, though. So if you have something ready, get it out, get it on Amazon, or what have you. I mean, why not? People want to read. That Garrett Robinson dude that I talked to said it kind of sounds opportunistic to do it now, but at the same time, if you have something ready, don't sell it as the COVID-19 thing. Kind of just put it out there for people to enjoy. People want to feel good. I mean, I'm a nihilist. I want people to feel bad about everything. I write character sketches where everybody dies at the end. But, if people fall in love and stuff in your stories, people want to feel good. Having good stuff happens is good.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to accomplish before we say adios?
No, that was it. Yeah, I am on Twitter, like you said, S Rookard or is it Shae Rookard? Lord, I don't even know.
I think it's S_Rookard. I was actually just looking at it just now.
I'm S Rookard on Twitter.
S_Rookard.
ROOKARD for sure. Yeah, no, that's it. It was nice talking to you too.
Yeah.
Stay quarantined, stay safe.
Stay healthy. Stay safe.
Exactly.